What's going on, yo? Welcome back to Scar Ralph Feeks. And I'm sitting here drinking vodka and orange. I wanted to talk about Van Helsing, which was produced, I believe, by Sci-Fi, but they have it on Netflix now. In this story, there has always been vampires. Okay, there's always been vampires around, and the reason why they came out is because a super volcano had erupted. It had blocked the sun, so now it turned everything into night. There's no sun, so vampires can't go out and roam free. They started going out and infecting everybody. Van Helsing in this show, Vanessa Helsing, she had gotten bit in the beginning of the plague when the beginning of the outbreak or the apocalypse, when the cloud came out, and she killed the vampire. But when they took her to the hospital, to the morgue, the doctor that was there, she ran a test on her blood, and her blood was like still alive. You know what I'm saying? Her blood was showing that she was still alive, so she can't be infected. It was showing that she was dead. She was dead on the bed. She was dead, but her blood was still alive. Also, when vampires bite her, they turn back into humans, which is a pretty good spin. I thought that was a pretty good spin. Well, she falls asleep for 3 years after the initial bite. She's in a coma, you could say, for 3 years. And then these vampires, these kind of leaders are looking for her, send a whole bunch of other vampires to look for her. Well, she's protected inside of a hospital that has been barricaded by these Marines, and there's only a few of them left, and there's one that's kind of in charge there. Of course, they get a few stragglers that come in episode 1, and then you got kind of the team building thing happening, just like on The Walking Dead. The Marines in charge, they have to learn to get along, blah blah blah, the whole thing of the story. Well, Van Helsing, which her name is Vanessa Helsing, she wakes up after a vampire goes in and bites her, and then her blood doesn't agree with him, whatever. He starts to turn back into a human, but you don't see that until maybe episode 2, I think, where you see that particular vampire who bit her turn back into human. So she gets up and she just starts to kick ass. From the beginning, she's always fought. They went back 3 years before the volcano erupted, as it was erupting, when everything was kind of normal. Tough woman, real tough woman. Okay, I mean, she's a Helsing. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I want to get at. This is a good show. I started watching it the other day, and I haven't stopped. I'm on episode 3, and I'm like, well, this is pretty good. It has a Walking Dead feel to it, a Walking Dead feel. So if you watch The Walking Dead, you're gonna enjoy this movie or this show. It's not on the level of The Walking Dead, because we would have all heard about it. We would have all heard about it and been, like, The Walking Dead is huge, but it's good to watch. It's very good to watch. It's entertaining. It makes you want to see it makes you want to go to the next episode right away and binge watch, like Netflix has done to us. Back in the day, you used to have to wait till the next week to watch your show, but now you could just binge watch a whole season or the whole show. But let me tell you why this show really, I think why it caught my attention, at least. If you've ever heard my podcast, or if you've ever heard any of my other videos where I talked about feminism and stuff like that, this show didn't shove feminism down your throat. That's one. It wasn't like, oh, this female here, strong. And, there wasn't articles put out about how you have to watch this show because it's a female. And strong this and whatever. We're not stupid, okay? People aren't stupid. When they see it, they already see a strong female. She's undercover with a shotgun, holding a vampire's skull. She looks pretty badass. That's badass to me, okay? Also, storyline. The storyline is perfect. It is not dumb. It is not over the edge. It's not stupid. They didn't take Van Helsing and completely disregard him like he never existed, like there was never a male Van Helsing. In this story, she is a distant relative of Van Helsing, which makes perfect sense. He passes away, he has kids, whatever, he has relatives. One of them's bound to be a female, but she has Helsing's blood in her, and she's a natural anti-vampire, and so it just makes perfect sense. In this one, the story of Van Helsing has changed. Abraham Van Helsing, the original, a lot of times, where he's a werewolf or he's this. She's not a werewolf in this one. What she is a cure. She's a walking cure and a vampire killer. And the vampires want her. I still haven't established why they want her. Obviously, I think I know why. She's the only one that can, take them away. But I think there's another reason for it. But in this story, she's out there fighting. She's looking for her daughter who she hasn't seen in 3 years since she went into the coma. Her daughter was in the apartment when she got bit, and she came out or whatever. And you see all that in the show when you go watch it. But overall, I think it's a good show. It's not something that I'm gonna say I'm gonna give 5 stars from 1 to 5. I give it 3.5. 3.5, close to 4, maybe. As far as watchability, bingeability, you could binge it. It's pretty fun. It's going on its 3rd season now, so it's doing something right. It's catching people's attention because Netflix, Sci-Fi, I think it's on the Sci-Fi channel. I believe it still is, and Netflix has it now. So they have, I think, 1 season of it. I think they have 1 season. Hopefully they have 2, because I'm on the 3rd episode, and I'm gonna probably finish watching it tonight because I'm off tomorrow, and I want to get started on the 2nd episode because I'm binge watching now. I'm gonna start binge watching another show next week. I should be done with Van Helsing this week. I'll let you know how it goes, no spoilers, and then I'll do another Friday Flicks next week. All right, so I'm the same everything as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Stay watching movies and shows. And I'll see you on the next smoke.
I'll do you in the bottom while you're drinking sangria.